Good evening. Let me just do this. Mic check, mic check. You hearing me well? Anybody out there can tell me uh, if you can hear me? Just send me a message. Yes, you're hearing? Okay, okay, okay. Hear me clearly. I would like to welcome you to our first podcast of the Man Cave. It is a safe space for men to discuss issues um, relating to men. Eh? And there are so many plethora of issues that men need to discuss, to talk about, to share. and so on. So we welcome you to this space. It's a safe space. We intend to talk about many things. Some might be a little bit tricky, some might be a little bit difficult, some might even be taboo. But we are here to just discuss with you, and to share ideas with you, and of course, provide some solution to some of the issues that we are facing as men. Before we go into that, though, we want to, of course, recognize the Do Good By Me institution, yes, that entity that has been around for many years and have always contributed to the community. It's a Christian, a Christ-centered institution, and we do many intervention in the community. We just want to recognize, of course, um, the head of that institution, Ms. Rebecca Mundell, and and a number of other persons who would have helped with the organization and the execution of those particular events. So we just want to recognize them. Again, we're a Christian-centered organization, and we intend to remain that way. For us, yes, for us, whilst we are here to talk about many issues, even some that you have never heard discussed at church, we want to provide solutions that are grounded in the Word of God, right? And therefore, while we are not opposed to persons just having the discussion, we want to provide you with the solutions that are lasting. Yes, solutions that are lasting and solutions that are effective. And therefore, it's important that we have the discussion. Again, men. There's so much questions right now. There's so much issues right now, and we just want to throw some of them out. We want to set the groundwork right now for further discussions for a number of issues. We want to talk about divorce and remarriage. We want to talk about sex. We want to talk about the finances. We want to talk about spousal abuse. Yes, from a man perspective. We want to talk about the issue of sex. We want to talk about the issue of relationships and how that has evolved over time, and how that the evolution of the male female relationship has impacted negatively on the male image. Yes, we want to talk about manhood versus maleness. Yes, we want to talk about issue of men's health, and the fact that men don't always take care of their health, and the fact that that also impacts on their longevity and their efficiency, and of course, their deal with matters at home and so on. So we want to talk about um, men being obsolete. Yes, because it's a mindset, and it's a societal norm right now. So we want to talk about that. We want to talk about the obsolescence, I might bite my tongue, of men. We want to talk about the fact that transhumanism has evolved. Well, the whole LGBTQ plus has evolved into a greater force in terms of transhumanism, and how that transhumanism will impact on men. We want to talk about a societal change that has redefined the roles, and how the fact that the roles of male and female, because they are reversed, how that has impacted on the efficiency of men, that's impacted on the mindset of men, or it has impacted on the psychology of men. And therefore, those are some of the issues that we have to put on the table. Some issues person don't want to talk about, but the fact of the matter is we have to talk about those issues. So we want to talk about men's issues, manhood, as opposed to being male. We want to talk about the fact that men seem to lack vision, men seem to lack purpose, some men seem to lack focus. No, it's not wholesale, but a number of men, a number of individuals, a number of us have reached a place where we can actually see this. And so those men who do have focus and purpose, they are set apart. Yes, you can see that difference in how they live their lives, how they live out their lives, how they pursue their dreams. We want to talk about men being who other persons think they should be, and not who God made them to be. We want to talk about that. We want to talk about the mental issues. We want to talk about the issue of suicide and the issue of murder, suicide. We want to talk about those issues, because we do not have a forum. We do talk a whole lot, but we don't necessarily have a safe forum for men to express and men to share their deepest emotions and some of those issues that you're facing. We want to talk about the fact that relationship and sex in a relationship has become very transactional. Um, and how that impact on the male psyche. We want to talk about the financial issues facing men and hence and also the family. We want to talk about women domination. We want to talk about societal change. We want to talk about a number of things, the lack of opportunity. Yes, we want to talk about men being abusive and why men are abusive from time to time. We want to talk about the fact that men sometimes have a role in their head. Yes, and the role in their head is not necessarily the way that men ought to be. So men thinking one thing, never being trained by their fathers, never being trained by society, and certain cannot be trained by women how to be men. Some women think that they can father, the mothers who father. The mothers can't father. And we need to speak, direct and truth, and therefore the men need to understand what is required of them. Men need to understand that in the creative process, when the God the Creator made man, He gave man some charge. We need to understand that before we seek to find a mate, there are other things that we need to do prior to that. So we need to understand that for us to attain, for us to step up to the plate, for us to become who God created us to become, then we have to do some things differently. And we're not here to have a pity party because some of the discussion might not take you where you want to go, but it's things that we need to think about. We need to start thinking about how we operate as men, or we operate in the society as men. Are we fathering children? Yeah, or are we just siring children? We need to look at those things. And in the event where we are fathering children, what is it that we are teaching them? Yes, what is it that we are putting into them? What is it that we are inculcating into them? The best of it. There is a saying that they say, take a village to raise a child. And I remember a very prominent TV judge, Judge Joe Brown, who we were having a discussion about that particular saying, and he was saying that that is not the real quote. Yes, the idea is rooted and grounded in a Yoruba saying, but it was not exactly what the saying was. And then he began to explain to us what it meant, what the saying was in essence. And though I can't remember it, I'm going to paraphrase. He was saying that the elders in the village would say to the young men, men, do not be afraid to become the warriors that you are. And do not be afraid, because we, the elders, we, the community, will ensure that your sons and your children are taken care of in the event of the inevitable. And that was an assurance given to all the young men coming through their process into manhood. And therefore, they were not afraid of becoming what they need to become. They were not afraid of defending their village. They were not afraid of being hunters and gatherers. Yes, I mean, they were not afraid because they understood that the community, the elders in the community, would have taken care of their children in the event of the inevitable. And therefore, we want to stick it right there. We want to ensure that at the end of the day, we are the best that we can be in terms of our manhood, in terms of our maleness, in terms of our role. And I do not want us to become stereotyped. I want us to divorce ourselves from a stereotypical mindset that has been foisted upon us by society. Indeed, some of it have been forced upon us by our spouse, by our partners. Yes, it has been forced upon us. And I am saying that we need to break out of that mode. Not that we are going to become antagonistic, but we have to become who God says that we are. You see, and let us start from right here. I am trusting and I'm hoping to see some thoughts put up because I want us to express. I want us to start typing now some of the issues that we face. And we're going to tie those issues into the idea of being male as opposed to a young man coming into manhood, coming into his own, coming into that place where he can become responsible. So we want to start seeing some stuff. So you can start posting, and we will basically start to have in a deeper discussion about some of the issues that we need to face, or that we need to address in particular. The first thing is that we need to understand who we are. It might have been, it might have been taught to us, or probably not taught to us, because to be quite frank, a number of the fathers before, yes, why we're here, a number of the fathers before never sat down and teach us. Society, in trying to define themselves, yes, have basically create some anomalies in the system. Originally, man was defined by his role. Man was defined by his role as man in a household. And I want to say this, and I want to say this very, very clearly so people understand. I want, if your wives are listening, that they too hear. A man, originally, his relationship with his wife was for survival. It was survival. He did certain things and she did certain things so that they could survive together as a unit. Your roles were defined. And it wasn't that bad operation. Market, there were some persons who marginalized women. So we are not looking into that. We're going to have a discussion about that, but that's not what we're looking into right now. When God created mankind, God created man and he created woman. Yes? He said some things to the man and he said some things to the woman. Correct? And the woman was his helpmate, meaning that meaning that God created a help for the man. Yes? And both of them was given a charge to do one thing. I am not here to preach, but I'm giving you where your purpose came from. He gave them a charge. And the first gift that God gave you, because it was a free will gift, he said, them, let them, let the male and the female, let the man and the woman have dominion over all that I have placed here on the earth. So it means that we are co-regent with the Most High God. We are governors of the earth. And some of us don't even understand the value of being a governor. We don't understand the role. We don't understand the responsibility, the awesome and every responsibility it is for you to be a governor of the earth. God gave you all that you needed in order to make the thing work. Yes. And you have a responsibility to make it work. You know, I never give man dominion over the woman. The woman was the man's helpmate. I mean, both persons were given the responsibility to govern the earth, not to dominate. Yes? No, the rules were also defined. And I'm going to quote from Miles Monroe many years ago. Miles Monroe said one thing. He said the rules were defined. He said the father went out and he gathered, he worked, he provided for the family. He provided a house for the family. He provided something for the family. And the family in return was reciprocated with love and respect. As I said to you before, originally the union was not necessarily to be romantic and to be whatever people want to be. No, that was not it. And that is why it is also said that man can live without love, but man cannot live without respect. And in many relationships, what we are having right now is we are having relationships that are emphasizing, of course, romance and whatever and what. And when we say romance, every time the man thinks sex, which is not really sex. So we don't even understand fully women. Women are very difficult to understand. Let me tell you, I've never met a man who fully understands a woman. But the fact of the matter is, there is no reciprocal respect. And what we are doing, we are killing, marginalizing, beating down on the man. The man is the primary supervisor for the management of the earth. And he does that in consultation with his helpmate. Who am I? You are male by virtue of how you were born. And right now, persons are separating gender from your sexuality. I, I am not into that. I'm not even going into that space. You were born male. You were born with a phallus. You were born with certain chromosome. You were born male. And no matter how you feel, that can't change. And if you feel otherwise, that's an aberration of the purpose for which God created you. Because if you were born male, I mean, I understand you feel female. But the fact of the matter is, I know things sometimes go right in our brain and in our heads. But the fact of the matter, you were born male. And you were born male, and God gave you some work. God said to Adam, go name the plants, name the animals in the garden. Yes? Till the ground, do the things that you need to do, don't it? So men must work. You were born male. You become a man, or you come into your manhood when you assume the responsibility of managing, and not managing, but provision, but providing for someone else. Usually somebody of the opposite sex, or for your children. So manhood is different from being male. Male is where you were born. Yes, who am I? I am a male. Who am I? I am a man. Why am I here? To do the work that God placed here on earth. To create, to recreate, to replenish, to continue the species. Yes? And in doing that, you do that in a certain context. There's a framework in which we do that. So who am I? I am a man. And man there mean that I am whole. It means that I'm not just male. It means that I've come into my manhood. It means that I have responsibilities, and I'm taking care of those responsibilities. Man is provider, protector, and priest over his household. The 3 P's. Yes? And there are many variations, but these are the main pillars of our responsibility and what defines us. We are what? Providers. We are what? Protectors. And we are what? Priests over our household. It means that when we sire children, we have a responsibility to provide a certain kind of nurturing, a certain kind, to inculcate a certain kind of culture into our children. And we are not seeing it happen. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you something. Miles Monroe also said about 10 years ago that this is the most difficult time for us to be a man. It is the most difficult time to be a man. So here we are provider, priest, and protector of our household. All right. So those are the 3 pillars on which we stand. Now, the society has changed. The society is demanding change. The society has taken on a different role. And because that's taken on a different role, what is happening to me now? We only have some people who are male because they were born male. And right now, what they're doing right now is they are changing themselves. They have become gods unto themselves, and they are now changing themselves. So women, and I'm not bashing women, but women have taken on some things that I think we ought never to take on, particularly African women. And I will not use the word black women because, and I'm going to share with you, black is not a race. If black is a race, it does not connect us to any landmass. It doesn't connect us to anything that is valuable. Yes, land and property is the foundation of wealth. So let me get something on my chest. So some people call themselves niggers and black and things. Do not defile yourself by calling yourself that. Negro, that word come from a Spanish word which is rooted in the word necra, which is necromancy, the science of the dead, rot, dark, decaying thing. So that is the root word. So if you call yourself a Negro, you have already positioned yourself in an extremely negative disposition, yes, basically telling the world that you are a part of this rot, this decay, this science of the dead. We are not dead, we are alive. And contrary to what enough people believe, our history never started slavery. We are the architect of society, not the Greeks. Egypt was there long before Greece. Benin was there long before Greece, and we could go on and on. I could talk to you about kingdoms that were there before Greece, before Rome, before any white man became civilized. I can tell that the Moors ruled Europe for 600 years. We taught them how to bathe, we taught them to use soap, we taught them how to change their clothes, we taught them how to use deodorant. We taught them that. So when people start to position you in the root word, that means rot, dead, and decay, then it means that we are putting ourselves in a very challenging disposition, and we are never to put ourselves in there. To be quite frank, they have so inculcated us and brainwashed us that they don't need to do it anymore. We are doing it for ourselves. It is wrong. We are of African descent, and what that means is that we have a landmass that we can claim as a part of our heritage. We have a landmass that we can claim, and that landmass can also be the foundation and the launching pad for our wealth. You understand me? The German people connect themselves to their place. Yes, the Germans. Yes, the Jewish people connect themselves to their place. Understand me coming from, you know? So everybody connect themselves to a piece of land, a piece of possession. Why is it that we call ourselves by a color? That is the lowest classification that we could use. And if you ask the Moors or anybody who still practice the things of the Moors, they will tell you that that's the lowest classification. We are a people. We are Moors or we are African because we came from Africa. That's our foundation. That's where we move. That's how we go forward. We need to understand this. So we need to divide and divorce ourselves from some stuff. Our history have been ravished and raped. And therefore, a person like Menelik, the first movie that highlight Menelik the Great, highlight him as a white man. Hannibal highlights as a white man. They were black people, great black people, valiant black people, black generals. Menelik defeated European powers on African soil. Let me tell you something, they think they're normal. And then now it moved from just ravishing and destroying our history and destroying everything. When they raided the library at Timbuktu, it was not just to impose certain things on us, it was to erase our history. I want you to know who you is, I want you to know, say, when you came over on the ship, no little waste man never come over. Well, I probably a few waste man come on the ship, but I'm going to tell you who came over on the ship. Architects came on the ship. Mathematicians came on the ship. Astronomers came on the ship. Scientists came on the ship. Seamsters came on the ship. People who practice agriculture and agricultural training came on the ship. People who took care of animals and husbandry and those things came on the ship. So it wasn't that some waste man come on the ship. It wasn't some loose people. So when some white people talk about we were not able to govern ourselves and the fact that enslavement was the best thing that could happen to us, we need to burn a fire upon that. Let me tell you, we as I said, we are a Christian organization, but we're going to talk some truth, and some truth need to be spoken. And we need to ask some serious questions. Because in many religious circles, critical race theory, yes, is not a part of the discussion. As a matter of fact, many persons have gone to lengths to keep critical race theory out of the discourse. And the question is why? Why would the church do that? Why would the church reinforce a stereotype by putting a blue eye, long hair, blonde hair Jesus and say, this is Jesus? People need to understand that originally there was no Middle East. People need to understand that the Suez Canal that separates Africa from what is now called the Middle East is a man-made separation. And in fact, there is no place called Africa. It is called Africa because they named it after Africanus, another white man who claims say Just like how Christopher Columbus discovered a place where people live and used to travel between the islands. It's a joke. It's the same thing. Now, if we talk about El Kebilan, then we can talk about Africa. If we talk about El Kebilan, then we can talk about we as men, black men, even white men. Because enough people don't understand. Most of the places where white people live, no, black people lived there before them. And everything is like us Indians. Because there's a group of persons, black people, them black than everybody else. Them say them are the closest thing to the original. In India, many Indians are Negroes, Negroids, and you're Negro people with locks. Not straight here, but locks long down to the ground. Men with locks long down to the ground, living in India. Talking about Vietnam. Talking about Russia. We're talking about China. Black man used to live in China. Talking about, listen, the Ganges River is named after a black king. So we never have to go no further. And that's the most famous river. So the fact that the river named after a black man, you must ask yourself the question, but how come? So we are the creation of God. We are the creation of the Most High God. Who am I? I am a man. How do I know this? Because God created me male. My manhood became manifested when I assumed the responsibility that was given to me by God. And of course, because of gender, we have certain defined rules, which we are now trying to rub out, which we are trying now to destroy, which we don't understand now. That now will now impact the very fabric of how we define ourselves in the 21st century. So men, we need to start talking about some things. We need to start talking about some things. Some people want you to be man or male simply because you're born that way. But there's much more to you, and your manhood really impact. It is really hinged on your responsibility and your response to those responsibility as a male. So it means that you can do several things. It means that you were again created to be a provider, a protector, and the priest over the household. Yes, a provider. In that, when there's need in your house, you go look the meat. You go look the meat. Yes. When a man decide to run in for your thing, and you are going to defend that because you're a protector, and your protection is to protect your whole family, and by extension, the whole village. So if a man running upon the village, you are the responsibility to defend that. That is why the Yoruba saying says, you man, you do not be afraid to become who you need to become, because the elders in the community will take care of your offspring and your children. It means that you are a warrior, you are the protector and defender of your people. And it means that you are the priest over your household as well. It means that in terms of worship, you lead your people into worship. You usher them into worship. You know, there's a thing that no people don't understand. That when men start to practice certain things, when men start to do certain things, it become almost, I won't say ritualistic, but it is deeply rooted and grounded, and therefore you can usher people into a space. Yes, you can usher, and it's your responsibility to usher them into that space. It's your responsibility to say to your family, we need to give thanks to the food. It's your responsibility to say to the people that say, listen, we must recognize that there is a God above, and we have to give an account to him. Because this is who we are as men. As men, this is who we are. Now, one of the things that society has done, and it has impacted negatively on us, is this. Society has allowed for a number of these positions that defines us and define our role as being carried out by other people. And I'm going to give you one example. Many black women in error, and I'm going to use black women in particular, but it was an error, and I don't think they understand how much it was an error. Many black women join the feminist movement coming out of the 60s and 50s and so on. They joined that movement. That movement was never a movement for black women. Black women have assumed great responsibility. If you look at the history of Africa, you will realize that while some might have been marginalized, black women have accomplished and attained greater things in the society than the white women had attained even up to the 1950s, 60s, 30s, 20s. They were queens. They were warriors. Right now, you have a tribe of female warriors, and their job is to protect the crown, to protect the throne. Serious thing that I about. That's how no play with woman. That's how a woman can do road upon you and put a javelin through your toe 2 times. That's how about serious woman. Military strategists. The Menelik, the forerunner to Menelik, what her name was, out of Ethiopia, led her troops into battle. Or after Menelik, but she led her troops and listen, and she said, and this is what she said to the troops. She said, listen, we're going into battle, and there's only 2 options. It's either we win or we die. We don't talk. And she led them into battle. She also defeated European powers. Many persons would have suggested that even South Africa was, but they had great women. Women stepped up to the plate. When Nelson Mandela went to prison, his wife, Winnie Mandela, stepped up to the plate, and she was a formidable woman to deal with. So Africa have a rich history of women attaining certain things. Queen Mother, advisor to the king. Queen Mother, advisor to the government and the royalty. Listen, we need to understand. It was never ours, but we bought into the idea. It was sold that way. America can't sell anything. It was sold that way because white women need to attain some amount of autonomy. And the only way they could have done it is with the numbers. And black women fell prey to that. So the white woman now starts to listen, we don't need certain things, we don't need this. And coming out of World War I and II, we don't need, because we are working in the factory, we make one money and all these things. And so they wanted more responsibility, they wanted to take over, they wanted to do certain things. You understand me? And guess what? And because we were also coming out, there was sympathy towards them, and because women never tend to coalesce around women issues, then of course we had a feminist movement going forward. Nobody tell the black women in the feminist movement that they would have to live without their men, that their family would be decimated, and all of this. Nobody told them. Being strong don't mean you don't need your husband or you don't need the children. Being strong don't mean that you're going to make it on your own. Let me tell you something. That has been part of the catalyst. That has been part of the influence that has now impacted. America is an aging society. Canada is an aging society. You know what impact those things? Your lifestyle. And we don't really feel we can defend all this. All this historical we can defend. Their lifestyle. The legalization of LGBTQ, lesbian, gays, bisexual, trans, all these people, all the things that we can't pronounce. Yes. The proliferation of how much hundreds of different gender. Yes? And all of these things, those are the things that has impacted on the longevity and the continuity of society. And it's like we're not taking it serious. Europe is aging. You know where it's growing? The East is growing. Well, China was growing at leaps and bounds, and all of us would be like, either. India is the largest democracy in the world. India. More people vote in an election than anywhere else in the world. So India is the largest democracy. Over 100 million people vote. And India is a growing space. Africa is a growing space. In fact, there are more black people than white people in the world, but that's a different argument. But all of these things have been impacting on the society, and in particularly on men. Some persons would want to believe that it is an orchestrated program to devalue men over time. It's an orchestrated program to devalue men over time. And we don't want to go too long. We want to keep it to an hour, but we want to share this. What is the impact of all of those things that we spoke about happening in the society? What has been the impact? And to on whom have the most, to which group, to which gender is the impact mostly felt? It will be said that men hold high offices still, yes, but I can tell you, middle management has been totally decimated. So we have about 90% female and about 10% male. And over time, whether you want or not, those numbers will escalate in the sense where those women will assume CEO position. No matter who they're, they will assume some CEO position. And you'll have less men also in those places. What happened after the war? What happened after World War II? What happened to the mindset of the men who took care of their families, who their wives was happy to see them, who their wives loved them? Where are the men who understood that sex is due benevolence and not a gift? So when I talk about me, I'll give some sex your birthday, then for run the people that. Like a taxi. So, beg your pardon. I know so there's some Christian persons on the line who very pious and so on. But let me talk truth. Sex is not a gift. You don't give sex birthday. Sex is due benevolence. And when I say due benevolence, I mean both ways. Not just one way, it's both ways. But why is it so important that we even look even at that? The fact that we have defined our roles based on how God created us to be men. And we have certain rich roles and responsibility coming out of that process, creative process. Why would we want to look at those things? Why? We have to look at those things for two reasons. It's the most difficult time to be a man. Why? Because more women increasingly today lack respect for man. And sometimes it's in your household, sometimes your wife. You understand what I say? So they lack respect for men. One. Two, they're in a better position economically, financially. And as a result, they believe that they don't need a man. That's the second thing, Three, he who has the goal make the rule. There's no more golden rule. They have redefined the golden rule. And she who has the goal make the rule. Hey. Sorry for Alex, I first podcast, but we have to start to think about the things then. Women are more ambitious than men. I'm not going to tell you the same from Out of World War II, World War I, more women started working in the factories. Men were at war, killing themselves. Yes? Killing themselves for causes that them still don't even understand fully. So women assume those positions and they run the factory. They make sure that the economy and commerce continue to go forward. They basically make sure you have enough gun, enough ammunition, enough bombs, enough everything, enough clothes, enough food, enough to run the war. Them basically was the machinery. Them was the engine that drove it. And it's the same thing that happened during slavery too, because enough people don't understand. So many slaves were ill-treated and killed because the women wanted it. Everything is a lie, me I tell. Go and read Claude McKay's collection of poems and look back. I have images right now that I put on Facebook. Them going to say, boy, them have a bite, violent content. When their Christmas tree were decorated with burnt bodies of black people and fostered by women. Enough men died because women told lie on them. That man looking at me, That man looking at me funny. Enough time I want them, but them somebody see them, so them have to basically, deflect the thing. And many men died. Many whoop a black man dead. So women assumed those positions. Women were not prepared to give up those positions. So women became industrious and so on. Out of that industrialization and movement, women also became very ambitious. So women went and get themselves educated. There are more women in the universe than men. Oh my God, can I talk these things? There were more women in the universe than men. So women went to get themselves educated, to get themselves prepared for the next level, while the men came back and basically sunk into depression because guess what, there was no job to them. You understand me? And for some of them come back, men of color, you know, so you come back to racism and all manner of stuff. And some of that was fueled too by women. We need to talk the things them. We need the things serious. You understand me? I say. And then some little follow a country like Jamaica now start to follow. So you know, so we created a gender unit. As a matter of fact, a bureau of women's affairs. There was no bureau of men's affairs to ensure that men also got their things taken care of. So we create a bureau of women's affairs, and we have now evolved it into gender, but it means the same thing. So when we talk about abuse in Jamaica, we talk about men abusing women, but what women have abused men mentally, psychologically. They have used the marital bed too as a weapon of their choice. Let me talk the things them. I mean, ask some man, the mother half crazy and boss have blood vessel a long time and them chip get licking up. We even talk with everything. We put everything on the table. You understand me? So when the women became more educated, the women became more independent. There's also another lie that our colonial people told us, taught us, inculcating us. There is no such thing as independence. There's no independent nation. Every nation is interdependent. And if we didn't realize that long time, we'd have been a better space in Jamaica. As a matter of fact, the Caribbean, we would not have a mere Motley now leading the Caribbean. We have such man. We claim to them know so much things. You understand me? If she assumed the position, she wouldn't be, listen, she would have basically be, not even a forerunner, but basically somebody will come and carry on a process by somebody else. This is why me I tell you, so we need to look on some things differently. You understand me? So we ourselves took the training and the teaching, and rather than re-educate ourselves or de-educate ourselves, we sank into this rhythm, this call. Listen, we need to understand the thing. So we became depressed, we became distant, we became less useful. To some women, all them want is the phallus, all them want is a penis, all them want is a sperm donor. What are women in Jamaica are talking about that right now? Because they feel that they have arrived. They are economically independent, according to them. They are economically independent. They are educated. And listen, them carry on the hog. Them even carry on the bacon. Them carry on the whole hog. Because them carry on the whole hog now, guess what now? You go and table them, I'll bless the table, you know, because them are carrying the hog. You're not carrying nothing. Them earn more than you. So them need them are want them for them piece of talk. And even if them wrong, them are want make them point. And what them do? You can't talk. I mean, listen, I mean, I talk from my own experience, I mean, I talk from other people's experience, I mean, I talk because some of these things we have faced. And when men are faced with these challenges, what breeds over time is resentment. And that's why some men know in our try if we capture some man who they become dominant and domineer and beat down and become abusive. And the women will still be telling me, be a man, after them done abuse, you know. Till they said, we don't need you, no. We don't really need you, you can't take care of it. You understand me? We are earned so we can do this by ourselves. Then they might tell you, you must be a man. You must be a man. They might tell us that we don't need you, but they might say you must be a man. And nobody taught us really how to be a man. My father is known as the first WWW, you know. Weed, wine, and women. Horace Lincoln Prince Sr. Because him the first WWW, weed, wine, and women. Him teach me some things, you know. Him say, yo, don't smoke no weed until you're 21. No. You know of a fuck where you want to. And weed was never my thing. That's what I said. Yeah. But him tell me that, him teach me some things in geography and these things. That him know, can feel like he had to impart some stuff. And that was before he and I, you know, went to Canada. You understand me? Right now, I don't even know if I'm alive or if I'm dead. But I know sometimes I yearn for him because my father, last time I spoke to him, I said, if you want to come, I can send you a ticket. Yeah, yeah, like that. You can send you a ticket. If you want a return ticket, you can give you a return ticket. You know, no problem with that. I laugh and say, boy, I'm going to race now and sit and take. Yes, sir. But we need to start up the conversation as men, yeah, about our roles. We need to find a way to recover our roles in society and not to dominate and to beat down women, but to recover our roles in society, that we can step up into our manhood with all the gusto, with all the pride that it used to be. You know why some man cried that England, and when him come back, him house intact? In that England work for years. You know, the churches, enough people go to England. And what they did was to send back money to their wives, send back money. They wrote letters to their wives, and their wives told their children about their fathers. So whether they are England or bad or not, that's not the point. The point is, when that letter comes, she'd have early part for herself. They must say, boy, you're pretty, you're nice, I'm love you, I'm hope you're there, go hold tight and hope no other man not jump the fence. You understand me? But he will send some things to him children to. So she would have read, yes, read. She would have read that letter to the church, and she said, you know, your father's working hard. Your father love you, and your father this and that, and I'm going to send some stuff for you and all these things. When she finished, her husband stood head and shoulder above every other man because she inculcated in the children that the father was a great man. Today, what you get? Deep criticism. Whether you're working hard or not, I hear nor there. People will want to acquire some stuff and get some stuff, but guess what? They're not doing it unless you're here. So there's nobody who can therefore know send back the money. Enough man left Jamaica without nothing. Now when him come back and say house, land, farm, him come back and say money at the bank and him retire nice and comfortable. Him and his wife live comfortable after the British pension until him dead and she dead. Why? Because the mothers were mothers. You see, I said to you, know, the primary purpose for them to come together was survival. The maintenance of the family. The development of the unit. The replenishment of the earth. You understand me? So we may continue as a species. Yes? It was not primarily for the love and the romance enough people want. No. Because some of us can actually live without the love. Men can live without, but anytime a woman don't respect a man, that man will not respond to that woman. That woman. So we need to understand and balance the thing. The respect is critical. In the word of God, it says that, listen, men must love their wives. And wife must do what? What the wife must do to the husband? Oh, sometimes we hear about summit, and the first thing we talk about is no, and then everybody in church, every woman in church, when it comes to that part, them don't even want to read it. Worse if you're out of church and you're real, you know, hot yellow road, that, you know, can do what you want and rail and fling and do all these things. You understand me? Yeah, man. So all of these things are important. And let me answer this question, because my friend put it up. Who educated women want to be educated men? But it's not that they want to be educated men. They want people with the same economic, the same economic bracket. So them can basically reap the benefits. Some women want educated men because some of the women are already accomplished and they are trying to reach that level of accomplishment. And they so women help buttress them and enough women who have money now, they want a man with more money. Enough women with money want a man with more money. Because remember now, them need get bigger, them need explode. So it's like some of you who love oxtail that costs more than a boneless steak, more than a T-bone steak, more than some baby back ribs. So we oxtail. You understand me? But you can't afford oxtail, but the man can afford oxtail. So you know, yeah man, we're gonna eat oxtail because the man eat oxtail. I won't say, okay, since oxtail are 2,000 a pound, remember put that on and put that out. No, them not do that. They buy the oxtail. I love the oxtail, so I want the oxtail, so I buy the oxtail. I must buy the oxtail for me because when them give me the oxtail, I give him, you know, I get to look at the gummy, I get to my thing. You understand me? So it become almost transactional. I hear a lady whom I was having a conversation with many years ago down by Maxid Avenue, talking about a man, and she say, hey, I'm saying like me. I never bring a lunch come. Since him say him like me, him come from after man, me bring a Kentucky come man, you have 2 piece or 3 piece. Him like me can't look upon him man. Cause I come like him mean because the first thing I fear mind that if him say him like I him shall feel that. Some women would say, you're not feeding me, you're not financing me, you're not doing the everything with me, and therefore, why you around me? You understand me? So we need to understand the dynamics. So some women with money want a man with more money because them taste, them want to shop at Miami. So we can't shop at Jamaica. Because nothing good to sell at Jamaica enough for them mind. You understand what I say? So them listen, them don't even care about your mental state. How much women you know? Sit down with you and say, boy, oh you stay, you stress out and say, well, go on, ray. Yeah, you know, so we can do this or do that or go this or you need to go doctor, you need to go check this or check that. No. Listen, some women never ask a man that yet. I mean, I talk about some wives. You never talk about a regular man. When a man reach certain stage in his life, him start to have doubt about himself. Time I go through midlife crisis. Yes? Him start to have doubt about himself. Him start to question himself. Him start to do all of these things. You understand me? And enough time when you're going through those things, who is there for you? When women have women's group, and them can talk to the psychologist, and them can talk to all kind of body. You understand me? Who do you have? Who do you have? Yes? To talk to. No people even understand it. Who you have to talk to? How much people can't say come make us all a reason a man? How much man want to tell us boy, you know, say when we were 35, boy, I mean have some erectile dysfunction and thing and with the real depressed and all them things. We could talk real things. No, listen, let me tell you something. 5% of 5% of men 35 and under have erectile dysfunction. And by the time I reach 45 to 50, it jumped to 15%. And over that, the numbers go up more. Why? The man them physically healthy, you know. But them not them when it come to them spouse and the thing with them are deal with and all of these things, you understand me? Guess what? It's not working. So if it's not working with them, what the man do? More the man tell me, you know. When it's not working with them and you start to question your manhood, you start questioning whether or not you still have a little mojo, you start questioning if you can really do the work. Yeah, sorry I say. You question if the boy responds to everything. Probably want to put that to battery on a wire and see if it still works. Yeah, sorry I say. What do you do? Because when people go through menopause, you have a group, you can a chat group, even ministry provides for them. Even the ministry of finance and planning and the public sector provide for women going through these things. Do they provide for men? Do they provide for men? Where is the avenue for men to have the type of discourse that they need to have? Where is the avenue for men to have a discussion when his wife or his girlfriend or his significant other, which is female, we come in on the same sex thing, which is female, decided to go off to ensure that our needs are being met. And him know, I'm find out, like the soldier over by Portmore, who said to the girl, say, listen man, I work, in the road, this, that, you know, all if you do that and see that thing. And she shook it off, until him come home. And when him come home, the fall came home to roast because somebody never walk up from that. And we now justify that, but we need to understand the reason for that. When a man feel the fire, the burning, not the burning, no, feel the burning. You understand me? To the point where he can't take it no more. And mentally, there's no space, there's no provision for him now to go and have a conversation with some people who can talk him through this and help him through this and bring them together and you make them separate or something. Why is it that whenever men go in some relationship, let me tell you something. When men are abusive to women, you know the advice them give to woman: leave, don't stay. That's advice them give to woman. Get out of that relationship, man. It's unfaithful, it's abusive. Get out of that relationship. When women are being abused, women, you know them tell men. You know them tell you and I. You know them tell I and I. Work it out, man. You can work it out, man. Work it out. Stay and work it out, man. Stay, man. Try harder. Try harder. Try harder. So the relationship is abusive to men, and they must try harder. The relationship is abusive to women. They must get out. You tell me. Me want to know. Me want to know the thing that we are talking about. A true or false. Me want to know if some of the issues that we face, what we just talk about, if you face them too. Me want to know if you are like me or some other people we know where you know we're a culture a certain way. Certain things you don't do to certain men. You know. Like for example, if you are a Jamaican, you know, I mean not calling name, but if you're a Jamaican and I want spit in your face, you know say no matter what them say, the thing done, you know. You done them or you done the thing. You understand me? And some people don't even know the impact of that. That is why when we are going to certain cultures, them say you need to take a crash course. Because certain things is offensive to certain culture. But yet still in our culture, we not see it that way. And we are expected to take some things and accept it and hug it up. And nobody gives attention to the fact that we are human beings. We have emotions. Yes? And we are rocked psychologically by certain things. It is time that we begin to talk. More men succeed at suicide than women. Why? Because when we decide, we decide. There's no halfway measure. And why is it that we're dying silently? Silently we're dying. Why? Why is it that if you check it right now, a whole lot of men, young men, depressed, middle-aged men depressed, and old men are depressed. If you check it out, why is depression so prevalent? And not just among men, women too, but why is depression so prevalent? Why? We need a forum where we just can be safe, where we just talk about the things. And some men need to understand that there are some things that they need to be doing that they're not doing. So it's not just that we are being beaten, you know. Sometimes we beat ourselves because of ignorance. And I'm but we're done. So we're close off with this. We spend years preparing ourselves for the job, right? So we go to school, we do O levels, then we go university, we might do, you know, a first degree, a second degree, and we probably do a PhD, right? We spend years preparing ourselves for the job. If I should ask the men on this platform now, and those who may come later, what are the 10 most important things to women? We cannot tell. We cannot list them right off the bat. We cannot say these are the 10 most important things to women. We can't. Based upon research, we can't. Because we have never read the research. And everybody feel that, no man, me's a man, me no please a man. And feel that sex is the only thing that she desire and want. Mark you that want everybody wants sex. I mean, everybody enjoy. I mean, better than food sometimes. But the bottom line is, why is it that we don't know the 10 most important things to a woman? And she don't know the 10 most important things to a man? Those are questions we need to ask ourselves. And those are things that we need to correct. We need to know these things. We need to know these things. Men, it must not be said of men that we don't read anymore. It must not be said of men that, listen, if you want to identify a man, put in a book. No, that not supposed to be said. Just a matter of fact, you don't have no excuse not even to read a book because you have other books now. You cannot, you're driving your car and a book a play and you hear everything because somebody read for you. And that go in your head same way. Through your input device. That go through your input device. That go through your input device. See, input device, your eye, your ears, touch. We need to find these things. You understand me? We need to find out these things. These things must be things that we find out. And I put it right there because next week when we come, I want us to discuss those 10 things. It's important. The 10 most important things to a woman in a relationship. And you might find kind of tweaking, you know. But if you talk to solid women, we not talk about a woman who you're there with and ask you can tell her say she want Kentucky, you know. Because if you're there with a woman, you know, that you married to her, but you're a quarter woman, you know, and ask you want this Kentucky and box, you know so that, yeah. You know how much about the life, but that there's something about that not working. You understand? Women who want longevity, women who are thinking about the future, them think about deeper things than that. I mean, I say all women can cook, but women who want deeper things, they really talk about the fact that, you know, we need to save, you know. We don't want to Kentucky. You need to save and buy a bed. You know what I mean? Yeah. You need to save and buy a bed, you know. We need some stove, we need furniture. You need some furniture and fix up a place. Yeah. Women who want to build with you, that's what they say. Women who are not building with you, but just want the phallus because all them want is a penis. Those women, we want, boy, want goat, boy, you know, party a slap, want a new dress, want some eyelash and these things. Pause here every week. Different color, ray, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. So again, we too, when we are seeking partners, must be listen, must be wise. You want to do the research and even make sure say you listen. I know it's hot body because everybody will get them hot body. When the Spice Girl them say at 200,000 that fix your body. You want some bottom, you want some breast, you can get that. And of course, if you want some more things, you're gonna check the Chinaman, because the Chinaman can give you an next half pound on the front. Yeah, and if you want 2 more pounds on each jar, 5 more pounds on each jar, round and back on the yanch, you can get that too, because there are panty we can make you look like you have all those things. And there's something where you strap yourself in, we give the hourglass shape. You know, don't worry, it might move your ribs them out of place. Because no, the important thing that when a man look at him have to keep him eye on him. And if you want a 2-inch eyelash, so when you bat your eyelash, you look like a butterfly or a dolly, yeah, you can buy that too. So someone will look on them things, but them things are real. Someone will look on them things, but them things are real, brother. So we need to stop looking at the things when they're real and start looking at the real things. So when you look at a woman, you feel see, but inside the woman, the qualities that come with her, the fact that she wants to build a life and a relationship with you. She knows want to run in and yam you out. Because the Kentucky every week or every day and Ray are sitting and thing and lunch and the dinner and sitting and everybody are coming in a box. Well, you can get in a plastic box somewhere, you can get in some paper box or some plastic containers. Those things that mean you will not have anything at all when you're done. If that's the case, then you don't have nothing. Because Kentucky raised 3 times last year. So that, you know, so that's crazy. That's what I say. Yeah, man. So those are the things where we need to take charge of. We need to take charge of the idea that the society is placing on us. And this is where me and some people have a part company come here for bonafide upon some people. We have been told that I better them discriminate against someone because who get vaccinated if I want to get vaccinated, right? And that is part of the challenge. But yet still we are warned that if we discriminate against some people who in some same-sex relationship and transhuman being, man we turn woman and all these things, and Ray, or trans man, then the full weight of the law I go beat you down. And some people now go accept that. No, me cannot accept that. If you have to have discrimination, it must mean discrimination for everybody. You understand me? If we're not discriminating, it means that we're not discriminating against anybody. So we could talk truth now, you know. So we are now being forced to accept, normalize homosexuality, lesbianism, where you go, LGBT, bisexual, transgender, you know, queer, you know, yeah, those things are being normalized in our space. We are being forced to accept it, but not only forced to accept it, you know. We are being encouraged. Explore your more feminine side. You're a man. Your chromosome says you're a man. You're born with a phallus, then you're born with certain thing in you. You must be soft. You must explore your feminine. No, explore no feminine side. You're some man that prettier than woman. You're prettier than woman. Or if you spend more time in your ear than your woman spend off your ear. Or your pants tighter than your woman. Yeah? At least she have the shape to full out the thing. So all your pants tight. As a matter of fact, why is it that you are walking in your pants and the whole of your bottom out the door in a place like Jamaica where if you go half a tree, some man go after you? And you are walk with your underpants are show. Your pants, and I like your pants come on little because it's too big and you lose weight, you know. In your whole your body jar, your pants under your bottom, under your posterior. There is something fundamentally wrong with that. And we must understand that you need to take some time now, brother, to start to reevaluate where the people say you need to be. You don't need to be that. That's not a style. That's a lifestyle where they might try to push it in. That's a lifestyle. And it's been very subtle. You know what I mean with this? From cartoon days, Bugs Bunny is a man and Bugs Bunny is a cross dresser. So Bugs Bunny is just like a woman. That first thing. A serious thing, my brother. Prison style. Yeah, come on road about that style. Them don't know so when the freshman them go to prison, them never walk with them pants and in them bottom because they never have no belt. And the man them said that's a freshman, fresh meat. So the man them hold and deal with wicked. You understand me? You know, shower and all them things. They have them broke you up real bad. You know what I mean? Yeah, them don't understand that. So them come now and figure say no style. But anyway, so the thing now is Bugs Bunny start towards the latter end just like woman kiss up Elmer Fudge and all them things and Ray and all these things, right? And the cartoon them start to portray a kind of cross dressing, you know, yeah, feminine, yeah, and the man, the gender start to rub out. To me, them I say, listen, I'll win the pool. Yes, I'm right now the new Superman, gay, Batman, gay, Batman a real Batman from long time, and Batman gay. Man, yo, the man destroy the whole thing. Then you have shows like the young and the have too much energy, young and restless, and all them show there. Beverly Hills 902, whatever. All them show there. The homosexual part, the gay lesbian part, that part became very prominent. Them start push it out. It start push out there, and the people start to accept it. And now man, I'm a star man. And if you burn a fire pan him, no, you can't burn a fire pan him. Nice boy, man, a star. So the star them became gay. You understand? Remember, them a feed this at about 15, 20 years now. Come down and them a feed this in our spirit. Them a feed this in our mind. We put them and watch it. The children now coming out of high school are more accepting of gay people and thinking normal. In our days, that wasn't normal. Fire that bun for a man and chase with a town. In Africa, the same thing. No, Africa now want to be like the world. So South Africa legalize homosexuality. Same-sex marriage, same-sex union. That's a folly. That's an abomination. And we need to understand, you know. We need to understand, you know. We know that something broke off in some people's brain and the chip leak. But the bottom line is those things can be corrected. But you see, when you don't think there's something wrong, it means that you think it's a normal talk. Remember, prior to 1984, homosexuality was a deviant behavior. Let me tell you, it was a deviant behavior. Enough people do it, and it was a deviant behavior. You understand me? So we're going to stop. We're going to stop. The men have to step back. The men have to step back up in them place. We are the priests over our household. We are the provider and the protector of our household. And therefore it means that certain things that is being pushed and certain things that is being inculcated in people need to stop. We need to control something that is happening within the family. The conversation needs to start taking place because women need to understand that they are not here to be as them claim. Them independent. Independence. There's no such thing as independence. It is interdependence. We make some white people fool with because they never want to give up nothing that way them teeth from it. Them slave for thousands and hundreds of years and we never get a pay there. You understand me? We never get the half acre and a mule. We never get nothing. When slavery was abolished in Jamaica, you know what them say? And I read it every emancipation day. I read their church. The man said, don't believe that the place where you live is yours, not yours. And I would encourage you to go back and have cordial relationship with the old slave masters so them can employ. You never get nothing. So if you're free, you don't get nothing. Or if a slave you and you're free and you don't get nothing. You don't have nowhere to live. You don't understand. Them slave you. That mean them work you for free. You don't have no money. Them say you're free now. And guess some now that you're free. You have no. You don't have nothing. You don't have no money to spend. You don't have no land for call your own. You don't have a cow or a goat. Oh my God. So, men, it's a whole thing. And we want to really start with the mindset. We are trusting that by next week or a week after, we'll be having a psychology look at some of the issues that men face, mental health challenges that men face, and how to mitigate against some of those challenges. So we are trying our very best. We are in discussion with a couple of persons. One who said that he would not be able to make it because it's Sunday evening, and he also do a broadcast on a Sunday evening. But we are looking at some other persons who can have the conversation. The mental health of men, and and we need to, you know what I mean? we need to get into that process. We need to start looking at some stuff. Corona came by and basically decimated some families. And person will look at the fact that, you know, there's some single female household and some stuff taking place and how them coping and stuff. I don't hear nothing about how men coping with the corona. I really don't hear anything. I don't hear anything specific to men. And those are some of the things that we need to start having a conversation about. Yes? And we are here to facilitate. That's why it's a safe space. So what we talk here, we talk here. If somebody listen otherwise than them here, fine, more power to them. I'm trusting that they will hear because they will learn something. They will learn that some of the things that they're doing is not acceptable. And it's impacting negatively on their spouse and their partners. Yes? So we need to have the conversation. But men need the space to have the talk. No. Yeah, so we can put some things on the table. We're not hide nothing, you know. We're not hide. Yeah. And some of us tired of being meat. We're tired of being, yeah, you know, just another penis. We're tired of them things. We want to be respected. Yes? We want to know that our children, we love our children and them honor and respect us. We want to know that our spouses as well. Yes, and we want a person to understand that you are not defined by your money or the things that you have that don't define you. If that define you, then you are temporal. And human beings have a longer shelf life. Because all we live here will usher us into an eternity or usher us into a very dark space of nothingness. So we have to decide. Men's talk, man cave. Yeah, our thing. Yeah, you know, our thing. So, you know, we're going to talk about some things and we're going to make it more specific. But for the first, we have to put everything on the table so we understand that when we attack right now, there's no boundaries. We attack about the things that impact man. And some of it might be good, some of it might be bad, some might be different, some of it might, you know, cause you to, yeah, but we are doing this. This is our space. Man cave. Yeah, man, and conversation continue. Bless up yourself now. If you love the thing, make you know, you know. You're supposed to make it sure what I go on. Yeah, man. And we have some posting I go on too, you know. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. We bless up the people. Victory every time, my brother. One from church and all these things. It's good, you know. So, yeah. We have anything happen. Man cave. Tune in. Sunday at 4. Before we close after this one. Yes. It's important. Yes, man. Do good by me. A wonderful Christ-centered institution. Yes, doing some work in the community. And of course, we're going to push forward again because there's some stuff we want to do. We want to do a community project with all the man them for the man cave at one point in time. So we can gather, bless up each other, eat some food, you know, eat 2 fish and piece of chicken, you know what I mean? While we contribute to the society and make things work for us. Bless up yourself. Yeah, man. Bless up, Brett Law. Bless up, brother. Yeah, man.